funky.
Hello, welcome to Day Night Podcast. I'm Celine.
And I'm Eos.
How does music shape a person?
Okay, well, how does it shape you, do you think?
Well, firstly, you need to go down to the basics. What are the genres you listen to? So I know my genres is rhythm and poetry, R&B, indie rock, and a bit of pop.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I listen to very similar stuff. I also love indie pop, alternative rock, rock in general, pop music. I listen to a couple of pop songs. And then generally been really into, show tunes, like Disney songs, whatever, Steven Universe. I love that.
I do, soundtrack-wise, I love Studio Ghibli's soundtrack. Very nice.
Oh, Studio Ghibli, yeah.
Yes,
They are very nice. They're not my type of music.
It's like background-esque song, because soundtrack.
Absolutely, yes.
But yeah, so how does music shape a person? Well, first I feel like you've already shaped you, right? You're already the person you are. And I feel like from what you like, that's how you usually go for the genres, right? So what you're feeling like.
Okay.
So if you're someone that's, it's very cliche too, because you can be like someone that's very introverted, but what's a very extroverted song?
Techno?
Yeah, techno, disco music. I was gonna say pop sounds extroverted. It's like an extroverted kind of
Well,
genre.
kind of. It also depends.
Yeah, I'm thinking of cliche though pop.
Yeah.
It's like 2016 pop. If you
Oh my gosh.
Justin Bieber and like Beatles, all that stuff. But I feel like it's you as a person. You start off, you don't know music, right? You go into a music shop. Let's say you go into a music shop. You're like, I like the color yellow, pink, and then you think of, oh, I like this vibe and that vibe. You go through the music shop. You listen to the music. Like, oh, I like this vibe. You go for this vibe. Sometimes you find newer ones that kind of implement in your day-to-day life. For example, I'm going for cliche, alternative rock.
How is that?
Alternative rock, hold on. Oh wait, this is a terrible one. But I'm just gonna say what I think it is, which is like the flannel kind of, in my head that's how I can picture it, like the flannel kind of shirt with like the inside t-shirt with like some graphic on it of a band.
Okay.
Blue jeans. Wait, hold on. What's the word? Converse and cigarettes. And this is cliche.
Let me interject you right there.
Go ahead.
Already in a music thing, I do see that as like a person that would like alternative rock, but a lot of people are loving alternative rock right now.
Definitely.
Loving. So honestly, someone with like really trendy, like I don't know, a maxi skirt, a baby tee, huge earmuffs, can totally see them like Doc Martens.
Yeah.
Listening to alternative rock, and I disagree with you.
But hold on. This is the cliche of what they look like. But then, as I said, a person has already shaped them. Like you as a person, your mental state, who you surround with, you know who you are. You're you. Those little aspects of an alternative rock person would come into your life a little bit, or like little things, as you said, Doc Martens.
Yes.
Start wearing Doc Martens. If you like indie rock as well, you would throw in a bit of cliches of indie rock. So like a bit of a pop of color. Usually, I don't know, overalls, I guess. I don't know, something. Or if you like country music.
Cowboy hat.
Yeah, or you would buy yourself cowboy boots. You know, things like that. It's not
pop
like
music too, though.
Yeah, pop music, I'm thinking more Dua Lipa,
Okay, so I'm thinking Taylor Swift. So.
Yeah, well, it depends. She's actually more back then she was more country.
She was country. She did a genre
but she's more country. Or like jazz, for example. Like jazz is not even the way they look anymore. Old people, but if you think of like newer people, it's like either round glass, the hipster kind of jazz thingy, or they have a vibe, like the way they walk, they act, they talk. That's too can affect it. Soul music, maybe someone that's maybe into psychology, like really deep. I don't know. It's like little aspects of these genres that would play into who you are as a person, and then shape you. But then again, you as well as your base, and then you kind of put a mix, and it makes your own.
I think it starts way before that.
Really,
I think this is in my personal experience, at least. Say rock music.
Yeah.
I have been indoctrinized to like rock music from my very birth. Okay. From the moment I was born, I was listening to Michael Jackson. I was listening to the Beatles.
Is Michael Jackson rock?
No, technically he's pop, but
yeah, he's the king of.
Yeah, he's the king of pop.
Yeah.
That is. I'm just saying things here, okay?
Calling you out.
For example, rock or pop as well, you know. There's the Beatles. Michael Jackson's been indoctrinated to listen to that. Queens of the Stone Age. What else? A bunch like Nirvana. That's also grunge technically, but whatever. I've been raised on that music. I was listening to that music when I was young. I started loving that music when I was young. And so as I grew up, you know, I still like that music. That doesn't mean it's the only thing I listen to. Like, I listen to a lot of pop music. I listen to a lot of indie songs that, you know, I would have never found, like indie pop a lot. And I was absolutely not, you know, raised to like it or whatever. So I do agree with that. But I also think that your taste in music starts from when you were born.
Of course, yeah.
Like, when you start listening to R&B as a baby, you're going to be more likely to like rap in the future or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you as a basis, like, I still think that, like, even if you grew up with certain music, it's not necessarily going to be the closest genre to that music before is not necessarily going to listen before, because I've been also exposed to music a lot because, I mean, you know, just life, and friends too. I remember I had friends listening to Queen, to, you know, all those 80s kind of music. Yeah. Michael Jackson too, Bob Marley. But like, see, Bob Marley's reggae. I don't enjoy reggae. So I'm like, yeah, to some extent your childhood does affect your music taste. Like, oh, you're most likely to like that closest genre. Yeah. But I also disagree that, like, the older you get a mind of your own. Yeah. And you just digress. You go for something completely different. So that's what I'm saying. Like, but like my example, for example, like reggae, like, I don't listen to that anymore. Sure. Or
there's small. That's like a small thing though. Like, but I do think that there's something you catch when you're younger and you keep that forever. And there's even other parts of it. There's like nostalgia. Yeah. For example, I don't know. Tonight's Gonna Be a Good Night. What's that song called? I Got a Feeling. Okay, I Got a Feeling by Black Keys. I got a feeling.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, I'm not gonna sing it.
Sorry.
If I was at a party or something and that song came on, I'm singing it. Even if I don't particularly enjoy it and I think it's kind of, you know, stupid or whatever, I'm still gonna sing it because I kind of grew up on that.
That's not the same as saying that you listen to that genre all the time. That's completely different. It's nostalgia. Someone used to, R&B is a song that used to be, the genre that used to be played not all the time, but because I've been exposed to it a bit more, I do listen to it here and there. Is it now the genre that I'm like, I like? No. I don't really listen to it anymore. And the closest genre to that is rap. I don't really listen much to rap. I have rap here and there, but it's not like the genre. Okay. So I feel like, yes, your childhood does shape the songs you listen to, but also not necessarily. You can completely digress and complete different opposite songs to what everyone else likes.
Like everything, life isn't linear.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's just the way life is. Yeah.
Another thing you mentioned is like how music can, you know, seep into you were talking about fashion and stuff. I actually 100% agree with that. Like, when I was younger, I wanted people to know that I listened to rock. I wanted people to know because I was part of it, I guess. And like, it is something that I think makes you cool. So I wanted to show that. So I was like you were saying, like wearing panties, wearing flannels, wearing jeans, and I do think it shapes. But also in terms of like the occasion, you know, like if you're going to a rock festival, there's a specific dress code. Some people don't follow it and they're annoying, but there is a specific dress code. And you know, a manic pixie girlie can still listen to hard rock or hard metal or even K-pop, I guess. Yeah. But she's still gonna be, you know, a manic pixie dream girl.
Okay, so in terms of fashion, music and fashion plays a big factor with each other. I feel like if you tell me that, I mean, there are people out there, I'm not gonna say they don't exist, but if you genuinely tell me the clothes you wear today has nothing to do with the music you listen to, that's the fattest lie ever. It's the fattest lie ever. Whip out the song. Even sometimes the song can even tell you what kind of person you are.
Yes.
Not always, but most of the times it does. Like, again, cliche. Like, if you go for blues, like, you know, you're
old.
Person.
Sorry,
you're old. Sure, but like you're old soul. You're an old soul.
You're an old soul.
You think more. You're more into your feelings. You know. Yeah. If you go for disco, you're like,
especially like 80s pop. You're a very like hyper active person, happy overall.
Yeah, but if you like rhythm and poetry, you like. You're more. I don't know. You're more expressive in terms of like.
You like philosophy, you like, you know...
Yeah.
Just a lot of things. It's hard to describe that kind of person.
I don't know. Actually, that genre is difficult. Well, no, you're more swag. You're more swag. Yes.
SWAG
is rap. I know it's rap. Okay.
But swag?
Yes.
Okay.
Guys, little test. Go outside. Just look at some people or some of your friends, just look at them and picture like, would you be listening to rap? Go ask them and see if they actually do listen to rap. People that most likely listen to rap have I wouldn't say the trendy look, but the swag-like look.
Okay.
Like the baggy jeans, the hood. Be for real, like go to school, look around, look at the way they dress. You can pinpoint anyone that listens to rap.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
Although there are exceptions. There are people that dress like losers. Sorry,
but as I said, like you are the base.
Yeah,
you affect the way you dress. So like, it's not just the music. You give it a little mix, you know, a little sparkle. So it's not just a song. Some people do just a song, or the genre. But
fashion and music are very intertwined.
Yeah, they are very
more than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, let's do folk.
Folk. Ooh.
Let's do folk music.
Okay. See, I think folk always taps into your culture. Because, you know...
Yeah. It's folk. Yeah. So, yeah, whatever. But no, cliche-wise, it'd be like the hobo kind of look. No. Cliche-wise, yes, because in Western standards-wise, like Western fashion-wise, if you think like, oh, I like the folk music, you know? So you go like for the maxi skirt, the flowy clothes... the big necklaces, you know, the circled ones. Your hair's usually, I wouldn't say disheveled, but it's like more curly, it's more free, it's like less in structured like.
I don't see that. Do you know why?
Why?
Because folk to me, okay, let's take something like, I can think of anything right now. I don't know, like English folk songs or whatever, like British folk songs. I can't even think of some, but it's just, there's two sides to it, right? There's like the children's rhymes, that's technically folk. And then there's like, you know, the actual, you know, songs or whatever.
Yeah.
So for that, those people that are like the actual, you know, folk songs that listen to genuine folk music that is not just children's rhymes, I kind of see that. But again, I mostly picture older people or someone who would also listen to indie stuff.
Okay.
So like someone who likes to feel connected to themselves or to nature or to love or whatever. Like someone who likes that connection. I think folk can bring that out in a lot of people.
Yeah.
It can bring out your patriotism, your nationalism, your whatever, but it also can just connect to your most inner parts of yourself, especially, you know, if you're listening to folk music from your own country, from your own state, from your own whatever. And then people who just listen to children's rhymes or babies. Or babies are all trolls.
Going out and you're like, oh, what do you listen to? Like children's rhymes.
I've done that, I think. No, because I've had cousins and siblings and all that stuff.
Okay, but like that's different.
No, yeah, but they're listening to, you know, Baby Shark craze.
Yeah, but like that's different. Like if you have someone, like let's say hypothetically that only child, and they say their whole playlist is school rhymes, like actual school rhymes, like twinkle twinkle, like that. I'm like, I'm not coming for you, but like that's interesting.
That's a weirdo.
That's very interesting.
It's a weirdo or a troll.
Yeah, but yeah, back to folk. Yeah, it's folk is literally like traditional songs.
Yes,
but like I'm thinking again, fashion is heavily influenced by Western standards, right? So if you think of like,
if we're talking about Western fashion,
Western fashion. Yeah, I don't know if I said that. It's most likely gonna be the fat maxi skirt, like American wise, like from America, it's like the maxi skirt. It's like it reminds me of a hippie, but like it's not hippie like red, pink. It's like very muted colors.
Yeah,
you know, like the brown, the cream, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that's what to me folk would be.
Currently, when I think of folk music, I do think of a lot of like Eastern European, but also very like Romani.
Mm-hmm.
So just like that kind of influence. They influenced how hippies look like, to be honest. So
They influence so much, and they do not get credit at all.
No,
they influence a lot of things.
They're amazing. But I do agree that like I can't picture that.
Mm-hmm.
So what about? Then I'm gonna go into personality right now because like music shapes the personality of someone. If someone listens to folk music because they're very in tune with themselves and very in tune with their nationality and with their past or whatever, all that stuff. I think it's very nice and very sweet that they like folk music. If someone wants to be a hipster and a hippie and listens to folk music, I usually think of them as being obnoxious. I'm sorry. We're going off cliches here, people. I think of them as being obnoxious. Like, you're listening to Taylor Swift? Yeah, I'm actually listening to Serbian folk music from the 1600s. Like, that's what I think of.
Like, if you actually do that to me, we're not friends. But there's different motives. Like,
absolutely, yeah,
of course. Or indie in general is like, it's an underground like artist. Like, you would not know. It's like just say the artist, not that deep. But yeah, goods and bads. Let's continue. Let's go for, what is this? Acid techno. I've heard of that.
I have not heard of that. That is the weirdest
Acid techno is like developed in Europe in the late 80s. Just think of techno and give it a little acid.
Like the drug? People who are drug listening. I just pictured bad music.
Squelching synthesizer, sound of Chicago acid house, harder edged techno material. You know what? Let's go for something else.
Yeah, let's go for something we know.
Should we do these two? So R&B, soul, or grunge?
Okay.
So let's go for grunge first.
Grunge was basically developed in Seattle with bands such as Nirvana. Mm-hmm. How do I not know their names right now? I feel such a bad person. The Black Hole Sun people, I forgot their name. Mm-hmm. Sorry. But it was developed in Seattle, and then it became... Usually some people say it's just rock, but it's...
Sorry. Yeah.
It's its own thing that I don't even know how to describe. Mm-hmm. Mostly the lyrics are a lot more poetical as well, I think, more than some rock music. And what I hate most about... now I'm starting to sound like people who say that, oh, you're listening to that, but to me it's true. In the 90s, Nirvana got the freaking hype and the level of fame that no one had ever expected from a grunge scene, but it kind of makes sense for the 90s. And that changed grunge music. Because now a lot of people listen to Nirvana and it's become pop music in some ways. Mm-hmm. What I meant by this was that grunge was created as sort of a pushback against the traditional rock that we were seeing in the 80s, like hair rock, or generally just, think of Guns N' Roses or something, like very commercial and everywhere currently, like in the popular eye. And grunge was supposed to, counteract that, bring it back to, feeling and revolution, kind of like anarchy was a lot associated with it, I think. So that's why it's kind of annoying to see it in pop culture, and that's why it's like different, because then by the end, Nirvana, for the biggest grunge band ever, was super commercialized and they were selling a lot of albums, which kind of had a difference. So there's also modern grunge, which again tries to be
not very pop culture, tries to be very underground, very anarchist, whatever the frick. And then there is current, the 90s grunge or whatever, that got commercialized. And of course there's the grunge before that was not yet commercialized. So yeah, that's why there's a difference between the two of them. And also the band I didn't know the name of is Soundgarden.
So I think there's a difference also between, 90s grunge, because that's what was, in some ways, it's pop music, because pop music is the popular music. So the music, that was in the Billboard Hot 100, all that stuff. So there's a difference between that kind of grunge and then the grunge that is not in pop culture, not in pop church, not in any of that. And I should probably, do some more research into it because it's probably very fascinating. But there's a difference also between the people that listen to it.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut you, but just thinking of pop meaning popular, king of popular.
Yes, king of popular music.
That's
king of the charts.
That sounds weird. Anywho, that's a cool fact. Yeah, you should do more research into a little something. I am not that cultured about R&B music because I wasn't super duper into it. But I looked, R&B music, I think Uprise was 90s too, actually.
It is 90s.
And
that was also very in the pop culture.
Yeah, either the Uprise was in the 90s, and it was really, I think it was a more 2000s thing, to be fair, because even Destiny's Child and stuff, I think was the 2000s or 90s. But someone that listens to R&B, you guys are just people that also like rap most of the times. But I won't lie, again, evolution-wise, it has changed, but I won't lie, R&B still has, the rhythm it has. Rap has become a bit stale. Not all kinds of rap, but most of them have become stale. It's mostly with the drills. R&B still has
the drill rap.
Yeah, R&B still has a tad bit of pop a bit in it, but then also not. It's rap, but it's not. It's a bit of everything. I guess. Yeah.
Should we talk about disco?
Disco, okay. Disco. I mean, it's
so for disco, for example, I think of 70s. That's the age of disco, of the pantsuits and the dance moves. I love disco, and I think it has shaped me as a person. And I am the kind of person that when I listen to disco music, I'm happy.
Yeah, I always thought I hated disco, but I'm the fattest hypocrite of all time, literally. And I'm the biggest hater, but I do like disco. Because think bass is ABBA is considered as disco.
Technically, yeah.
ABBA is technically disco.
Amazing.
I know this band called the Heatwaves. I think they're called that. That's also disco. They're pretty cool. But yeah, disco as a whole is the funnest, I think, one of the funnest genres. If you need not a breath of fresh air, but just fun. If you're going to a party and you can't think of a song, think of a disco song.
Yes.
Everyone will know the disco song.
Disco in general, it's such a fascinating thing. Because when we think of disco, we think of happy, go-getter, people just having fun. But disco in the 70s, when it was, this is how disco shapes society, how music shapes society. Is also, how music shapes a person, how music shapes society. Disco started as being a black thing, Black people listened to disco in the 70s. And so it was hated by a lot of, white people and old people that were no, I'm not gonna, that's disgusting, it's bad music, it's this and that. And it was hated by a bunch of people for being black music. And then, once white people started doing it, I guess things died down.
But really, consider for... I don't want to claim all the songs because it's not. But that happened to most... I'm not going to say most genres, but
yes,
some of the genres here, grunge.
That didn't.
Yeah, exactly. So not all of them.
No, most rock things and country, I think that was more, white people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not all of them. Some of them here... they were heavily influenced by black people, but then they weren't popular because the whiter communities didn't play the song. But once they picked it up, that's when it became a bigger thing. How many times have you gone on YouTube and go for 50 song and you found out a black person sang the song? It happened so many times to me. It's this is madness. The song It's a new dawn, it's a new day.
Yeah.
It was sung by a black person, I had no idea. By a woman too. A woman,
Girl.
a black person. I was like, whoa.
Really?
It happened a lot.
Most 50 songs were made by black
No,
people.
I know,
Yeah.
but like it's one of those songs where I was like, I was shocked. I
Okay.
knew that it happened, but I was like, oh, I actually didn't know this song was made by a black person.
Sorry if we offend anyone, but most of his discography, and Sinatra as well.
Yeah.
A lot of his discography, black people.
Yeah.
Jazz, blues,
Yeah.
R&B, rap. A lot. I mean, most music
Mm-hmm.
was not made, but yeah, basically created by black people.
Rock too.
Really?
Yeah. Elvis Presley, man. He was the king of rock.
I guess.
In
yes.
that time, it's rock.
Okay, and that
In
yeah,
that
and that
time.
way you're actually correct.
Yes.
Rock was even technically, but the first rock and roll song that people say, like rock around the clock. And if you think about that, it's not really that rock. And I do think, like if you look at Elvis Presley rock and you compare it to nowadays rock,
Yeah, those are two different things. But I'm
Completely
saying, like,
different, but they shaped
evolution-wise, it started from the black
Yes.
people, and then it's been picked up by the whites, and then it has evolved, just like any other genres on this chart.
yes. Like to be honest, when I think of jazz, even though it's very, black culture thing or whatever, I think of a white guy in a, one of those hats. What do you call them?
Don't ask me to find out.
It's a hipster hat or whatever.
Yeah, I think of New Orleans, like
Yeah.
the cafe, but like I think of black people. Jazz for me is such black culture genre. But then playing their songs and
Yeah.
very cliche because what's this Princess Tiana or whatever. You didn't watch the movie?
What?
Princess Tiana.
The Nicki Minaj and Diana.
Yes!
I was like, you were talking, and then you said Princess Diana, and I was like, oh, the new Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice song.
Oh my god! Someone
The Princess and the Frog, yes.
Yes. I know there was a few jazz songs there, and that's how I was like, boop, jazz is
Yeah.
in my head, and that's what I see. Because yeah. I mean, there are many music genres out here. Some of them we have no clue about, such as acid rock,
Acid funk techno.
acid techno, ska. Oh no, ska. I do
Ska,
know what that
yeah.
is. It's mostly acid techno. Most of them you could take a wild guess what is it.
I think
You know,
most techno music in general,
Mhm.
like you have to be in the clubs to know, that.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? I saw a video of this girl, like she studied in Europe for like a whole bits and bobs of years. And she said it took her, throughout the years she was in Europe, a whole year to actually fully understand how to dance to techno music. Techno music. Like there's a specific way of dancing to techno music. It's not just dancing, it's like full on like movements. And what is folktronica? There's another one we don't know about. Yeah, forget that. We don't know what that is.
It's just subcultures.
Yeah.
Subcultures.
Yeah.
One of the subcultures that also I really like, music, as we've talked about, music shapes people in terms of fashion, in terms of personality. It is shaped by cultures, and it is also shaped by people, but also just, it has a whole culture. There's cultures to music. Let's say, this is a whole other thing, like Taylor Swift, there's a whole culture around her. There is a way to behave if you're a Taylor Swift fan. And a huge, way of also seeing that is goth music.
Oh yeah.
I don't know much about goth music. I want to learn. I would love to learn. But goth music, you've got goth clubs, you got the goth fashion, you've got the goth way of acting, you got goth opinions. And there's just like so much to it. It's a subculture. It's not just music. It's not just faction. It's a whole subculture. And it's amazing how music can do that, and I love that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes it so like just overall diverse.
Yeah.
And open. Like again, yeah, you have your little wars with people within the genres, but it doesn't stop you from liking the genre. I mean, free music genre, free world, free country, I guess. But yeah, that's music. Wait, we didn't do classical music.
Oh, classical music. Perfect. Okay.
Wow. Okay, so classical music.
Really?
You know what? I have a story actually. As I said, music shapes the way you look, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the way you dress gives people the wrong idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at school, I was in a class, right? I was talking to this person about music, and I was dressed a certain way that could have insinuated that I liked a certain kind of music. And I was like, oh yeah, like, could you guess what song, like what genre I'd listen to? I don't remember what I told him, but I was like, also, could you guess me? Like, you know? And he said classical music. I don't hate classical music, okay? It's not on my playlist though, you know? Like, no, but at the time I looked like a diva, okay? I didn't even look like someone that listens to classical music, but he was really looking at the cliche, right?
What is the cliche?
The cliche is like very well dressed, neat cut, the V-necked, jumpers, the V-neck thing I always wear, with like a collar, white collar under, jeans.
See, I don't see that. I see actually people. I can't imagine someone who listens to classical music. Like, I can't imagine how they dress like.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine how they act.
Okay.
Like, if they play an instrument, they listen to classical music.
Okay.
Any instrument. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Even if like Mozart or Beethoven or whatever. Like, there's always some form of classical music when you listen to instruments, whether you want it or not. It is at some point part of you, especially if it is your career. If your career is music, classical music is a part of it. Even if you play rock, even if you play pop, to me, it's always somehow a part of it.
Yeah. The way I described it, really, it's a cliche. Like the way I described alternative rock or grunge. I don't know. I think it was alternative rock. It's a cliche.
It is.
When you listen again. Classical music could be anything, as you said, violin, flute, piano, trombone. It could be anything.
Yes.
I think, personally, I specifically depicted, to me, someone that plays piano. I know people that play piano. They do not look like that. But it's, again, the cliche.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, classical music. I was like, yeah, I don't listen to that.
I mean, I've played piano too, and I bet there's some classical songs you like.
I didn't say I hate it. I didn't say I hate it.
It's just not your whole vibe.
It's just I don't listen to it. Like, here and there, I would put it on. I don't mind listening to it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but it's not on my playlist, But,
I get that.
Here and there, I could put it on. It's not my go-to. I don't hate it, though.
I am that kind of person that will side-eye you if you say that your favorite genre is classical music. Because for some reason, I can't wrap my head around that.
You know what some people do though?
What?
When they listen to songs, like, they play scenarios in their head.
Yes.
So maybe that's what they do. Like, they like classical music because they play that scenario in their head. Maybe they're the kind of people that like period pieces, like, period things. So like, okay, I'm gonna listen to, like, let's say, is it Vivaldi? Yeah. The Four Seasons. They listen to it, and then there's like a whole movie thingy happening in their head. That's how I see it.
Okay, I can see that. That's good.
Or they picture themselves playing it on stage. Who knows? But yeah, that's classical music.
Okay. Cute.
Yeah.
Well, nice to have you guys around.
We will see you guys next time. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.